asset to AutoJet. Not only does he assist us whenever we need design help, he is our mentor winner from 2019. He mentors so many people. He's always available, and he does the most incredible work. His background is in branding strategy, market development, and customer service. He's a guru and a marketing maverick. So before we start, I'm just going to ask Laurie to put up a poll. As you know, we're all going through this global pandemic where resources have become extremely limited to AutoJet as well. And our fundraising endeavors are so much more difficult than they were pre-COVID. So if you are able to make a donation to us, it would be extremely appreciated and it would go a long way. So thank you all for your time this morning, and I'm handing over to Mike, if he can tear himself away from his tea party, to give us some great and useful tips on Canva. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to Canva for Beginners. I'm going to share my screen by starting off by doing a presentation, and then I'm going to move on to Canva from there. So let me just, there we go. Where's my Zoom gone? Share screen. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to Canva for Beginners. I'm not going to take up too much time with introduction, but I'd like to run through a couple of things for you. First of all, this is it, Canva for Beginners. This is Canva for Beginners. My name is Mike Said. I have a little company called Mike Said What. If you need to email me, just drop me a line on mike@mikesaidwhat.co.za. You're more than welcome to WhatsApp me on 081-398-2190. I'm always on there. I do have one thing to ask you. Please, no voice notes. I absolutely hate those things. They drive me completely insane. In fact, I've actually got to the point where I don't listen to them anymore. If it goes longer than 5 seconds. So please do. So just a little bit of background. I did a talk recently for someone called Cutting Through the Digital Clutter. So this was my opening slide for that. And it's helping your potential customers find your needle in a field full of haystacks. Because I don't think people understand exactly how much is being posted on the internet at the moment. And if you'd like to get some insight, pop along anytime you like to www.internetlivestats.com. Those are live stats that are running all the time. And this is about 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago, there were 4,790,000, whatever, 4,700 million internet users. There are 1.8 billion websites out at the moment. About 205,000 million emails are sent. 616 million tweets were sent today. This gives you some idea of how much is being posted at the moment and how much choice people have. And for that reason, you really do need to make sure that whatever content you are posting stands out from the crowd, or at least isn't lost in this total clutter that's out there. So that's one of the reasons why I really advocate that you learn a little bit about design, a little bit about what makes good design from bad design. Even if you're still going to use a designer, you need to be able to give a decent brief and to be able to talk from there. So let's move on from there. So why choose Canva? First of all, it's online, which makes it very, very simple. I can do Canva on my phone. I can do Canva on my iPad. I can do Canva on my desktop. I can actually be sitting at a client and need to do some Canva, and I can actually come up with a design almost on the fly, and they're extremely powerful. It is very, very easy to use. It might not be easy to master, but it's easy to use. And as I flick through Canva just later on, please don't be intimidated by it. I'm doing, you know, the story about having done 10,000 hours. By now, probably in the last 6 months, I've done 10,000 hours on Canva. So I kind of know my way around. You will get there slowly. Don't be intimidated by it. It's extremely powerful tool. Now, of course, there are things, for example, like Photoshop, where you can do things that you can't do on Canva, and I'll always have Photoshop. And I came across another design tool the other day for about 450 Rand. It's almost as powerful as Canva, sorry, as Photoshop. And if I remember, I'll post the link for you just now, but it's very powerful for what you will need it. There are some unbelievable features in Canva that are, some of them a little bit hidden, some of them you just need to find for yourself. But as you make your way through Canva, you'll start to explore and realize just how powerful it is. And it's constantly evolving. That's the other really nice thing about Canva. When I started using it about 18 months ago, so many of the features that I use every single day right now weren't even available then. And it just keeps evolving, which is absolutely wonderful. And it is free if you choose. There is a paid version and a free version. The free version is probably enough. I'm a big advocate for the paid version, and I'm going to explain why. So first of all, if you take it for free, that's the difference. You get 8,000 free templates, 100 design types, whatever. As soon as you move on to Pro for $9.95, for me, this is the best 1,200 Rand that I spend every year is on my Canva paid account. But a disclaimer, I get no commission whatsoever. I'm not going to give you a link that you can click on that I get money for. It's entirely up to you if you do it. I have no paid interest in you taking Canva. So the difference between the free version and the paid version, which is the one I'm using, is I have access to hundreds of thousands of images and elements and videos and fonts and things that just are not available to the free one. And it's certainly worth my while because I used to have a paid digital subscription for images, and now I was able to cancel that. You're able to develop brand kits, which means I can create a brand kit for each one of my clients. And in there, I can have their logos, their colors, their fonts, and I can simply refer to their brand kit each time it happens. You get to create your own templates. So for example, if I'm working with a franchise coffee shop, I can create one template, send it all out to them with instructions on how they can change their own backgrounds without changing anything else. And also it means that I can reuse stuff over and over again, like for example, my Zoom templates. It's got something called the magic resizer, which means that once I've created an image, I can resize it automatically to anything that I want. And I'm going to give you a demonstration of that, and that's certainly worth it. But the one thing that stands out above all others is my ability to download a transparent PNG. The PNG is an image file, just like a JPEG. The only difference is that with a transparent PNG, I can have no background. So I can create a logo, I can then save that as a transparent PNG, and I can then put that over anything that I want. And that is an extremely powerful tool, and probably the main reason why I would even recommend you using maybe the first one and the last one are the main reasons. So what you can expect today, I'll talk a little bit about how to get started. I'm going to talk about layout and composition, because no matter how good you get, you do need to understand some design kind of rules or what's the word I'm looking for? Conventions. There's some design conventions that you should try and keep in mind while you're designing. I'm going to talk a little bit about typography and fonts and choosing them and what colors stand out in colors. I'll talk about the resources that I have available. I have a little list that I'll share with all of you. And then we're going to just do some design. And what I'm going to do with design is we're going to make up a company. We're going to create a logo for them. From their logo, we're going to create a banner from them. From their banner, we'll create a pamphlet. And I'll just take you through the design cycle. And then just once again, if I can just tell you, don't be intimidated by the speed that I work. You're welcome to put up your hand or interrupt me and say, whoa, slow down there. Just show me that again with the greatest of pleasure. We're a fairly small group. Oh, we jumped to about 22 people, but that means we can communicate amongst ourselves, and you are welcome to interrupt me at any time that you like. So how to get started? Although I'm hoping each one of you has at least signed up and have played around, I can't assume this. I'm going to give you a chance while I'm speaking. If you can, go sign up for Canva. Or if you're not going to try and follow while I'm working, then don't worry about it. You can sign up another day. But just sign up for a free account, or even try the free trial for 30 days, the free pro trial, but make sure that you have an account. I'm not going to show a video. I was going to show, but I'm actually talking through it. So if you haven't, then please sign up as we go along. So just to start off with, I'm just going to talk about 10 basic design rules that are really going to change how you work in Canva. Now, I always share my presentation, so you're welcome to take notes, but you will get a copy of these slides. Tracy usually sends them out a bit later on, as well as a recording if you want to go over today. So rule number one is readability. And it's one of the things that I find with beginner designers, when they're using their own colors, particularly their corporate colors, they tend to overlook what stands out. So for example, blue stands out against red, but blue doesn't stand out, for example, against purple or something like that. And same with using a light green and a dark green. And this ability to understand that when your customer looks at your design, they need to be able to see what it is that you put across. Capitals are fine if, for example, my word readability at the top there, if it's only 1 or 2 words, that's absolutely no problem. It's very easy to follow. But try not to do your whole design in capitals. It's the same as getting a WhatsApp from someone and it's all in capitals. It's like you're being shouted at. That's the best way I describe it, or multiple use of exclamation marks and things like that. Second thing is understanding line length and trying to work within margins. Another kind of beginner flaw is they tend to take their type right to the very ends of the pages. And it makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult for your eyes to concentrate on. And if you look at these two, you'll see automatically it shows there how much easier the one on the right is to read. It's nicely placed. It's got enough spacing. It's not too narrow that my eye has to kind of dart backwards and forward. So watch your line length. Then the next thing is to understand hierarchy. That some things of what you're going to say are always going to be more important than other things, and particularly if you want them to stand out. So if you look at the left-hand side and the right-hand side, they have the identical information. But as your eye goes across the right-hand side, straight away you see, oh, it's John's 21st, there's the date, and that's when I need to RSVP. Those are the 3 things I need to bring to your attention really quickly. The rest we can follow up with a bit later on. So it's not just about your information, it's about understanding the hierarchy and how you present that information and what you back it up with and colors and bold, etc. When it comes to alignment, we're all very familiar with left aligned, right aligned, center aligned, and justified. Most posters I'm using center aligned for myself. I choose left or right aligned depending on what it is that I'm making and how I want it to fit out around the graphic. I seldom use justified text because if you have a look over there at this particular line, this is what kind of happens. Your words tend to spread out or condense so that it fits in. So although it's pretty good for newspaper print, and if you're, for example, putting out a magazine or maybe even a newsletter, on the whole, I would avoid justified print as much as possible. From justified, we're in there. Number 5 is understanding a grid. That when you look at a page, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rule of thirds and the grid just now, is understanding that things need to line up and the really nice thing about Canva is while you're dragging things around, it actually shows you when things are aligning. So start working in little blocks. Try not to be too haphazard and all over the place. You need to give your readers, your potential customers, something to focus on and something that's comfortable for their eye. Next thing is understanding your audience. As I said just now, understand who they are and how you're going to talk to. So, for example, the one on the left, if I were to do a children's concert, there's no reason I'd go for that classical look. It is a children's concert. I go with bright colors, fun fonts, nice little elements that I can pop in there. The right-hand side, if I was putting together some classical concert for a slightly older audience, more conservative audience, then certainly I'd use that. But design for the audience that you think are going to be watching your program. Next is just understanding basically logical colors. For example, flowers should be pink and not brown, and of course paintballs should be brown and not pink. Just little things like that. When you do your design, think about them. It'll come naturally after a while. In the beginning, it's going to require hard work. So what you might want to do is to actually take my 10 tips and look at your own design and go through the 10 tips and literally tick them off and say, yes, 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 yes. And if you haven't covered one of them, you should be able to explain why to yourself, why you've chosen to go against the norms. Also choosing fonts, please. If you've got a lot of stuff and you want people to read them, make sure they can actually see them. Make sure they can read the font. Real little quick tip here is on the right-hand side where it says, for example, Georgia, that is known as a serif font. A serif font has a small little tail on it. Those little things there on the T, on the I, those little things are known as serif. So when you're talking about serif and non-serif fonts are slightly more classical and non-serif fonts are more modern. So for example, the word design font at the top there are no serifs there, there are no little extra things. It's a more modern look to it. So you'll decide on what it is you're using, what kind of font you need and how readable it is. Serif fonts and classical fonts are a lot more readable if there's more text to read at the particular time. Something I spoke about very early on was talking about color discord and understanding that some colors work together and some colors don't, and they almost become offensive to your eye if you put color discord. It makes it difficult for the person to read. And as soon as someone's having difficulty reading or following your pamphlet, I can assure you, or your Facebook post, I can assure you they will just simply walk away from it. So please just bear that in mind. Also, when you do things, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't put in any more information than you absolutely have to. This is not a data presentation to a group of engineers. All I want to do is indicate that column A is higher than column B, is higher than column C. That's all I need. In fact, I probably could even take out some of the background lines just to keep it simple. So those are 10 very basic design rules. Try and follow them as much as possible. There is one other rule I'd like to talk about with all of you, and that's known as the rule of thirds. That every time I look at something, I see it in these blocks of thirds, these kind of 9 blocks. Now, the first tip I can tell you is if you ever want to improve your photography, even on your iPhone, simply go in there and find the grid and put the grid on and start working on the rule of thirds. Start understanding that the horizon should not be divided down the middle and people should not be sitting in the middle. But if you can get your main points of interest to fall into these particular thirds, it's so much more pleasing on the eye without your viewer even understanding them. So a couple of examples of rules of thirds. This is a really nice one. As you can see, the horizon is running along the bottom third. The couple kissing is smack bang on that very important intersection. Just without even realizing, this is just a great picture to look at and you're not even sure why. And the main reason is that your eye's not competing. The first thing you'll look at is that kiss, then you'll start noticing what's in the background a little, and also notice how the background is blurred. It's another really nice effect for bringing things out in the front. Just another simple example of the rule of thirds, a really nice picture. You can see at these points how well they intersect. And you're going to notice that with almost any good design, without even looking at it, someone's gone to the trouble of laying it out properly. Layout becomes extremely important. So I'm going to quickly just, if there are any questions on the conventions, let me put them on before I move on to resources, and then we're going to go and start doing a bit of designing together. I'm not following the comments, so I'm hoping. Okay, no questions.
There are no questions. Nothing in the chat box.
No problem. Let me move on to resources. Okay, so there are a whole lot of resources that I have here. They all are from free design resources to 123apps.com, where you can edit video, you can cut music. There's Canva itself, how to build your own images. Things like the font. If you're looking for a particular font, you can get free fonts there. Fiverr is my go-to thing. If you want extra emoticons, free design resources, sizes, whatever, it's all here. Tracy will send out this list to all of you. Each one of these is absolutely free. There is one here that has changed, and that is my, where is it? I think I put it here, my invoicing software. If it's here, Wave software, unfortunately not available in South Africa anymore. Otherwise, the rest of these are all up to date. For example, Color Palette Maker, if you're looking for colors that work together and colors that don't work together, you'll find it there. You can download little applications on the internet if you want to match a particular color. Just go to Chrome, download a color picker. You can actually pick a color out of someone else's website that you like, and you'll get that exact color. So there are so many resources out there. I tend to have a lot of things open at the same time so that I can go around with one of them. Probably one of the most important resources, let me just see if I can find it for you, and that is my little GIF resizer. Here we are, tinypng.com. It's a very, very important resource to have. Let's say, for example, you're building yourself a background or a thumbnail for a YouTube video. And the thumbnail that you build is actually too big. It comes out at 2.2 or 2.3 megs, where there's a limit with YouTube. You could simply drop that into tiny PNG, and it will reduce the size of any image. So if you're building website images, or you need something to be smaller on an email or an email letter, you can reduce the size of the image without actually losing any quality at all. So with that aside, we're almost kind of at the end, which is when we now start designing. So I'm going to take you into Canva right now on my screen, and I'm going to show you, first of all, we're just going to run through Canva itself. Let me just close all of that up there. And when you arrive at Canva, this is kind of where you're going to arrive. This is more or less what it's going to look like. It might vary slightly from Chrome to Edge, or from a PC to a mobile app. Sorry, from a PC to a Mac. There might be some slight differences, but on the whole, this is what you're going to see. So when you arrive here on the first day, all you're going to see is your kind of home page. So I'm going to run through some of the things that there. Anytime I want, I can simply click on the Canva button or hit the refresh button, and it takes me back to the home page, so I can always go there. The nice thing with Canva is that every time you open a design, it's actually going to open a new window. So if I were to click on the Create Design button over there and decide that I want to build a logo, what it does is it opens a new window with my logo, which is going to be sitting over here, and my home page is still over there. So that's just a really nice application there. So let me run through all of this. First of all, it's always going to start off with recommendations for you. That's where it's going to ask you what you want to build. You want to build a presentation, an Instagram, whatever. You can run through it all there. All the custom sizes you need are kind of there. I'm building a report. I'm doing a social media. I'm doing a presentation of this size. I want to build an invoice. Everything's there. The next button down here is called All Your Designs, and that's where you'll find all the things you've made. So, for example, there is today's there's today's Zoom background that I made. There's a little meme I made the other day. Here's one I made about Gorilla Girl. Those of you that aren't following the internet, unfortunately, what she decided to do was to spray her hair with Gorilla Glue instead of L'Oreal glue. She's now in the hospital having it removed. That's a whole other story. And this is where I can find almost any template that I've built, anything that I've done. I always have to scan through here quickly just to make sure there isn't anything rude or upsetting before I do it, but that's where I'll find all my designs. So once I've been through designs, I can also have a look at recent designs. I can look at designs that have been shared with me. If I'm sharing a design with someone, there are also brand kits over here. As I spoke earlier on, there are the brand kits. Here are my clients' logos, fonts that I've uploaded myself. I'm going to come back here just now and show you how to upload your own fonts. Everything's there. There is a content planner. I need to tell you, I've never used one of these in my life, but there is a content planner, which means that I can publish Facebook posts in advance or Instagram posts in advance. I can remind myself to do it. It's one of the features that I haven't used, but you might want to use it there. There are folders. You can create your own folders there. You can have auto training folder that I could drop anything I wanted. As you can see, it is empty. I'm a little less organized than I should be. I should have more folders, but that's one of the things that I do. There's my trash button. I'm too scared to push on the trash button because I'm not sure what I've deleted in the past. There's a folder that I have with my daughter who's forever sitting at school and then needing a design done really quickly. And a bit lower on, there's the uploads. There's all the things that I've uploaded myself. Every little image that I've done is there. Let me also just quickly scan my eyes through this. So everything that I want, I've uploaded there, things I like, and then of course there's that all training folder. So just to go back to the home, that kind of gives you an overview of what's happening. So now it's time for us actually to design, and we want to create a design. Now I can scan through here and I can look for something that I want, or I can go up here to create a design, and I can find the thing that I want to design. So for example, I want to design a logo, an A4 document. If, for example, it doesn't pop up, and if I were to improve something on Canva, I'd like to be able to have my own recommendations up here. If I type in the word Facebook, switch off my caps, sorry, and there I can design a Facebook post. And the really nice thing about Canva is it already knows what size is optimal for that. So for example, a Facebook post, the perfect size for a Facebook post is 940 by 788 pixels. If I'm designing a Facebook cover, it should be 1640 by 924. If I'm designing a Facebook ad, it should be 1200 by 628. So there's no more guesswork. you can straight away go to what you want. Same, for example, if you want to do a presentation, it knows that the best size for presentations are 1920 by 1080. It's also known as 1080 when you come to video design. There's my Zoom virtual background. It knows that a perfect Zoom background should be 1280 by 720. So let them do the work for you. But it's also got one other feature, is that I can put in a custom size. So I can say, okay, I want to design something that's 800 by 800. Or someone might send me and say, Mike, listen, I need a particular design. It's going in a magazine. Here's the exact specs for that. So you can see that I can do a custom design there. If I'm not going to do a custom design, I can actually edit a photo as well, which means I can upload a photo. I can use that photo, and then I can use custom designs and edit photos that I've put up there myself. But for today's exercise, what we're going to do is we're just going to simply start off with a logo. We're going to create a little company. So just to make sure that I haven't done anything, I'm going to open this to the floor. Anyone name a company for me that we are going to design together today? And tell me a bit about that company. Hello?
I'll go. Can anyone hear?
Oh, lordy.
I'll never want to pass by an opportunity.
Oh, God.
Why don't you do one for my
Sorry, I lost you there.
company?
For your?
My company, Creatrix, which is a behavior change storytelling company with a very good logo.
Okay, so we have Creatrix,
Yeah.
a storytelling company. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm sitting here with an open dashboard. So what I can do is I can look through. So I can type in the word create, and I can see if something comes up. No, I don't really like that at all. So when I think of the word create, and I'm going to ask Lynn not to comment because I just want to take it through the thing. If I think of create, then I think of the word idea. Aha, so now I've already got this. Okay, so here's an idea.
May I ask a question, Mike?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Would it not be of value for you to actually see what my logo looks like so that you can?
No.
Not yet.
What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a company from scratch.
Okay.
I'm not going to try and improve your logo for you. I'm going to create our new little company called Creatrix.
All right, fantastic. Okay, cool.
That's kind of where I want to go with that.
Absolutely, I see, I understand. I see.
Oh,
I see. So are you looking up concept words, basically?
Yes, I'm looking for concept words that come to my mind when I want to do that design.
Okay. Remember, it's a female creator, is a creatrix.
Ah, okay. So I'm going to stay away from my patriarchal leanings of, you see, I managed to throw the word patriarchal here. It only took me 32 minutes. Anyone has ever heard Lynn talk? I have tequila with me. And every time she says the word patriarchy, I have a sip. I've never finished a talk without being completely pissed. I'm going to go into design and I'm going to go for brain. See if there's anything I like there. No, not working for me. Let's go with idea. Okay, I'm liking this. Let's go with something from the idea. So,
I love that. I mean, does the client have any say in the matter?
Absolutely, the client does, but usually I'm not designing with the client looking over my shoulder because I charge about 500 Rand an hour for design. I charge 1,000 if the client wants to help, and I charge 2,500 if the client wants to watch.
Mike, can I ask you, how did you get to those icons? I missed that as you moved.
Sorry, no problem. I clicked here on the side here. There are uploads, photos, and elements. So I jumped to elements. And you see over there, I jumped to elements. And then I just simply typed in the word idea.
Ah, okay. I see all the, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I came to elements, and I'm going to use this one. It's got quite nice look to it. I don't want it in black because we know it's a female company. I might by this stage have got a brief from the client around the colors she likes or doesn't like. But I can look for something maybe a little bit light. Okay, let's go with purple, just for the for the idea of this?
No pink.
No pink, or no, you want pink?
No pink.
That's not pink.
It's very patriarchal to assume that women like pink.
You see, here we go.
Pink.
There we go. I didn't put pink, I put purple.
But purple is lovely. No, so you see, you're charging me more for watching, but it's so nice to watch, Mike.
Okay, no problem. I just want to go backwards. I accidentally changed the background, which I didn't want to do. So I could look at that color there. I can then look at the colors, as I said over there. But I can, if I'm not happy with those colors, I can click on the new color chart and I can actually select an exact color that I want. Or I can enter what's known as a hex code. That over there is known as a hex code. So for example, the client might already have another company and want me to maintain some of the design elements, and she would then give me the hex color that she wants in the background. The challenge with this particular one is that I'm not unable to break down the different elements and change their colors. That's one of the things. I'd have to do that in another program. The only color I could maybe change are these bottom. No, this one I'm kind of stuck there. So now we have the logo that we want to use, and we're going to put in some text. So I'm simply going to go here. I'm just going to hit on the words heading, and I'm just going to type in creatrix. Is that how you spell creatrix? So another thing you might just want to watch, if you look at the screen carefully, you can see these little
Michael,
lines running about. So right now, if I drag that there, you'll notice there's a pink line running up there, and it means I've got my, you can see my blocks, and my box is really, really square. So I can look at Creatrix, and I can do a couple of things with Creatrix. I can, for example, change the color of the tricks part. And let's say that, or let's change that one to a nice green color. I'm not actually, I'd like something a bit bolder. So that's how quickly I've kind of designed this kind of little logo on the fly. I could also, for example, decide that I do like Creatrix, but I want to change the fonts around. So I'll keep the create part kind of back where it was. Add another one, and here I'm going to put in tricks. And for tricks, I'm deliberately going to use a lowercase, just so it stands out a bit more. Go back, maybe let's bring in a different color just to see how it looks. No, don't like that color at all. Let's go back to the purple color. Just, by the way, the document colors that I'm using will always pop up there. It makes it easy reference for me. I'll click on the green one. I've got Creatrix. What I might also want to do is look at the different fonts. So I click here where it says Open Sans, and here all my fonts open for me. Now you'll see I have a number of uploaded fonts. These are the favorite fonts that I like to work with. And for example, I might want to try something a bit slimmer. So now we've created Creatrix. Just different ways to, it's a little bit too insipid. Let's try that same thing in bold. Maybe a little better. And I just want to line them up really nicely. Another thing I just want to show you over here, if I go to File and I go to Show Rulers, these rulers pop up at the top here. Simply by dragging down with my ruler, I can bring a line down to the bottom here, and I can make sure that everything's absolutely lined up. I can do the same if I want to look from the side here to see where my margins are. Just allowing me space. Now, for example, I want to increase the size of Creatrix to fit in there. But if I click on this one and I drag the corner, the one's going to go without the other one. So I'm going to teach you another little trick. I'm going to click on Creatrix. I'm going to hold down the Shift button, and I'm going to click on the tricks. Now the two of them have formed into one image. I can, on the top right hand here, group them as I'm going to now. So from now on, they will always be the same group. I'm going to push that out to the end, push that out to the end, drop my whole little group down just a little bit to give myself a little bit more space. I can, if I like, just get rid of these lines so I can see it without the lines. And now I've created a simple little logo, and for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to assume that that logo is good enough. So there we are, we have our little logo. All I want to do is now download it. So I click on the right-hand side over here, and I get to download it exactly in the format that I want. I can download it as a JPEG, a PNG, a PDF that's ready for print, an SVG file, which is a file that resizes. I can have it as a little video, I can have it as a GIF, anything I want. But my recommendation is that I have it as a PNG. What I am going to do is I'm going to hit the word download. And quite simply, it's going to download it. It'll always pop at the bottom here, or else you'll find it in your download files. Now, what I've downloaded is as it stands right here with a white background. But that's not how I want it. I want to have it so that I can use it at other times as well without a background. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to download with a transparent background. And as I say, as a designer myself, this is the #1 reason for me to have paid Canva. That alone pays for itself. There are other reasons as well. Now, if I download it, simply at the bottom here, you'll see a second one, Creatrix 1 will download. And I know that Creatrix 1 is now a transparent background. Now, I'm just going to show you how I use those particular things. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go here to my uploads. That's where everything's uploaded. And I'm going to upload, first of all, in fact, let's do the other one first. I'm going to upload the Creatrix PNG simply by dragging and dropping it into that file. So now anytime that I want to use the Creatrix logo that I've just made with a white background, there it is waiting for me. But here's the beauty. If I upload Creatrix 1, same way I did it, now you'll see it appears there with no background whatsoever. And for me, that's the powerful one that I want later on to use, particularly if I want to use it as an overlay. So just to show you quickly how to use it as an overlay, I'm going to go back to
Can I ask you a question quickly?
Of course, please do.
Mike, can you do that again?
Sure. I will do it for you now, Karen. What was the question?
I want to know, so you've got to, when you download it, it downloads to your computer, to your download file. Is that correct?
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't, and then it doesn't automatically save it within Canva. You've got to re-upload it into Canva. That's what I want to know.
Okay, so just to go through that, I'm going to go back to my Canva homepage and I'm going to go to all my designs.
Yeah.
And you'll see that the design is here. So it'll just take a second or two to upload. That's generating the design I just made right now. Sorry, just that I'm probably working a little too fast. So the answer is yes, it saves automatically to Canva. It saves my design, but it doesn't save the image. If you understand the difference. So I can always come back here and I can find the design. The design will always be here for me. And I can work on it again. But it doesn't save it automatically as an image in my image folder. Karen, you understand the difference between those two? So I don't
really.
Okay, so let me try again. I don't have to save. I don't have to go and save this specially. Everything I've ever built is being saved every couple of seconds. I can always go and find it.
Okay.
But in order to use it as an image, right now it only knows, Canva only knows it's a Canva design. It doesn't know it's an image or a PDF or a PNG or a video. I need to create that. And I did that by downloading it over there. I decided what I wanted as. Then it saved it to my computer. And now in order to use it, I need to get it into my media file. This is my media file or my uploads. And two ways I can do that, just to run through that again for Lynn quickly, is one, I can simply drag and drop anything, anywhere that I drop it. It'll save it automatically into my uploads, or I can click on the upload button. I can decide where I want to upload from. I can go to my device. I can go to my downloads file. And there I will find anything that I've ever downloaded, and I can upload it from there. So, but as I say, the simplest way of all is simply to drag and drop something that you want to use. And I'll give you an example of that in a second now as well. So now I have my little logo and I want to use this little logo. The first thing I want to do with Creatrix is I want to create for them a Facebook banner, little banner that Creatrix can use on Facebook. So I go to all my designs over here, I create a design, and I'm going to look for Facebook banner. Facebook cover page. In fact, they call it a cover page, not a banner. So here I have my Facebook banner. But there's a little trick that I've learned about the Facebook banner that you learn the hard way, and that is that Facebook banners actually look different when they're on a mobile device and when they're on a desktop. So you need to understand that there are certain restrictions. I need to know that the very top part of my banner over here and the bottom part are not going to appear on a device. I need to make sure that nothing important is put over there. So I want to create this little this Facebook banner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a nice background. I'm going to go and find a photograph. So I click here on photographs, and I'm going to look for this. So here's a little search button, so I can decide, do I want it in a particular color? Do I want it square or horizontal? Do I want it free or just pro? I am on the pro account, so I might see some pictures that you don't see, but let me in fact change to free only, just so that I'm working with the same images that you are. And now I'm going to search for something. I'm going to search for create. In fact, let's search for the word creative and see what backgrounds come up. Look here, go, oh wow, I actually quite like this. This is my design sheet. In fact, Lynn, why don't you pick one for us here from what we see here?
I was just unmuting myself. And
No.
the rainbow pencils is exactly what we are. We're multicultural storytellers.
No
Oh
problem.
my God. Oh, I'm having an orgasm. I'm muting.
Thank you. So now I have this image sitting here over here right now, but I actually want it to be my background. So I'm going to right click on it, and there you'll see set image as background, and boom, there it is. The image has now been set as the background. Now, one other thing that happens sometimes if the image is in different sizes is if I hit the word crop, I can see that this image can actually be moved slightly. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually bringing the pencils down. There's a limit, that's the limit line, but I can move this image around. I'm bringing the pencils down a little bit. I'm much happier with that. That's kind of my Facebook background. Now, the next thing I want to do is I actually want to drop the logo in here. I want to put in Creatrix's logo. So I can go along to my uploads where I know it is. And if I were to click on the one that I downloaded with the white background, that's what it looks like. And as you can see, to me, that takes away. I don't actually want the white background there. So I'm going to delete that one, and I'm going to pop in the one that has no background. And I'm going to resize it. You resize everything by dragging the corners. You can see them over there. I drag the corner down. And I'm using the guidelines. You can see, let me just move that again. You can see this little purple box that's appearing there. I'm using that as my guideline. Those are kind of the comfortable for your eye kind of guideline. So then we have Creatrix over there. I might.
Mike?
Yes.
Can we not use the background and design in the background? Do we have to save each? So like, can you hear me?
Restart again, sorry.
Okay. So say, for example, we're doing a Facebook banner. You've taken the background with the multicultural pencils. Can we not design the Creatrix in the background? It's got to be layered.
Yes, but while I don't want to, because when I save it, I'll save it as a single image. But right now, I want the ability to move everything around. I want to have as much design freedom as I possibly can. I might decide to put the Creatrix this side. I might put it that side. I might decide that I want it smaller and I want it to only fill up the space where there's no pencil lines. I can just decide to put it there. So I want to be able to design in, as you call them, layers, because it just gives me the freedom to resize and redo things a bit later on. So let's say, for example, I've decided that's actually where I want it. I'm using that design line over there. That's my design. And now also I want to say something about Creatrix. So pretty simple. I go along once again to my text. I can look through for something particular. There are lots of design elements over here. So for example, this hello darling one.
Michael,
Yes.
Michael, can I be the client that's paying 2,000 Rand an hour?
With pleasure.
And say, just because we can, is I just curious about what if the pencils lead into the Creatrix. In other words, put the head, the skeleton head, under the pencils. So no, down and almost in the middle. I know that you're not going to like this, but conceptually, the crayons are leading to Creatrix, or Creatrix is leading to the pencils. Maybe top left, so that what Emma, no, that's cuck.
Okay, so let me, quickly, while we're here, let me show you something. Right.
Yeah.
A nice little trick for all of you. Okay, so now I'm dealing with my client, Lynn, who I know is highly opinionated and fortunately quite knowledgeable. And I know that she's going to want to see this design in multiple formats. Right. So up here is a nice little button that says duplicate page.
Okay.
And I'm going to duplicate this page. Then I'm going to duplicate it again and again. Now I've got a whole lot of pages. Now I can show Lynn that version. Then I can take this one and I can put it there. And I can show her that version. And I haven't had to change them. Then I can come here and I can put it at the bottom of the pencils, maybe leading from the purple. I can show her that version. And now I'm able to save all these different versions without having to go back and press back button. And for example, let's say I've decided to Creatrix and I want to add some text. And the text, what's the catch line of Creatrix?
It's going to say storytelling in the multiculture. No, storytelling on your terms, on your turf, in your lingo.
Storytelling.
Okay,
I just want to show you
just
something.
call it multicultural storytelling for the purposes of this.
No, let's go with story. Storytelling. Okay. So I want storytelling.
And then in smaller
Yes.
smaller on your terms, on your turf, in your lingo.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the storytelling part.
Okay.
I'm just making the font bigger. Let's make it a bit easy for myself here. Just jump the size a bit, 110. So there's storytelling. I like it, but it's not sticking out. So I'm going to click up here and I'll see the word effects over here. And my favorite effect of all is just something called lift. And by clicking on lift, all it does is put a small little shadow around the words and make them stand out a little bit from now storytelling. And the next thing I want to do is I want to give, what were those words? Just tell them to me again. In your,
on your terms, on your terms, comma.
I'm going to use, yeah, on your terms.
I would recommend upper and lower case because it's okay. On your terms, capital.
Okay, on your terms.
And then some sort of button, yeah, you could just put it, and then on your turf. And the third one is in your lingo. Okay, that's cool.
Now we have this. I'm just going to drag it down to the bottom here. And the first thing I want to do is make sure that it's exactly sized.
Yes, very nice.
Okay. Now that I've got that, I can say to myself, all right, let's have a look at Lynn's idea of these being in small lowercase, so that they at least. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I don't want to lose that last design. I'm coming back here. I'm going to go here. Never quite worked out how this one works. But okay, let's change that. On you. Sorry, my caps lock is on. Why am I not getting? think I might have picked a font, but no problem. Just add another one on your
That's it, yeah.
on your term. What, sorry, what was
Then
it?
put
On
a
your-
comma rather than a dash, just to
On your
vary it.
terms.
On your terms, comma, on your turf, comma, in your lingo. You could make it caption, but we're not going there now. Yeah, in your lingo, dish, no punctuation.
Okay, once again, just going to line up the size. Move this down here. So what I might want to do now, for example, is really look at a much softer font for that one. I'll go through my fonts over here. Champagne and Limousine is a really nice font.
I love that, incidentally.
And now I've got the hard storytelling with a much softer catch line. Click on it, use my arrow key, just move it around a bit, see if I like it. And what we've really done is in a couple of, literally a couple of minutes, we've created a logo for a company. We've got a little background banner. I can send my clients multiple, or I can work online with them if I'm prepared to risk it. But it's not always
Now that I know, Mike, I'm never letting you go.
I know, that's what I'm worried about.
Can I ask can I ask
Please
a
do
question?
that.
Please,
Sure.
why is the one pencil blunt and the rest are relatively sharper? Is that deliberate?
So what I'm going to do here for Odette is I'm just going to add one more topic. I'm going to put here OCD much. I noticed your OCD came out on you there. So unfortunately, it's an image that's already there. I didn't get you to, but what I could do, for example, is I can go back to my photos and now I can type in the word pencils. And I can look at all the options on pencils.
Thank you.
And see if there's something that fits, more with me. I'm not restricted to what I've done. In fact, once again, I can take this, I can simply duplicate it. And on the second one, I'm going to drop in a different pencil background. Set image background.
I want the round one.
That round one, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm going mute again.
Now I'm going to actually take Creatrix and I'm going to put it.
I've just oh my God, Michael. Oh my God. That is, I've got to call my girls. Oh my God. I'm going mute.
So those of you who don't know Lynn, she's my most interesting and exciting client, but she knows what she wants. So.
But you know what the worst is? That I'll know it when I see it, which is the worst brief on God's earth. And I'm used to having other people tell me what to do. But
yes.
but just for everyone, from a design point of view, that is so. I mean, obviously you'd have to work on the lettering, but the fact that all of these multicultural pencils lead to Creatrix, or we lead to them, that's very exciting design. I'd love the opinion of others.
I like it.
So what I can also do is I can actually make sure that the Creatrix matches that exact purple over there. I can find out what that color is, and I can use that particular color, and I can use that particular green. But that's getting a little bit into advanced, a little bit more advanced. But just to show you, I'm just going to quickly, because it's not working, I'm just going to take that out. I have a kind of design that I like for my clients, but now also I want to use the design in other things. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just for the sake of this, I'm actually going to delete the other ones. So we're now working with one particular one. Didn't realize I've made so many. So I've settled on my final thing. This is the Facebook banner. In fact, this might actually look a little bit almost as though it's been spoken from storytelling. almost coming from the mouth.
Can you align it with what, with that brown crayon? Can you put it on top of the brown crayon?
I can. So what you'll notice is a little turn button over here. I can actually even turn it slightly.
Ooh. And then make it much, much smaller so it's more subtle. Yeah. That's very, ooh, now I want to go all kitsch on my own ass. That's, I think, you see, Michael, you'd stop me at this point, maybe.
Right. And I tell you to go back to writing books and leave me to do the design. But that's, now what I could also do is I can take those words and I can put them in the pencils. I could put your lingo, your term. I can make them part of the design.
I was just going to say that, and then I thought I was being pris, but I think that's a very clever idea, but it will take some designing to do that.
Yes. So I'm not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to show you with the storytelling little thing here is I might want to try something. And up here on the right-hand side, there's a little button there called transparency. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lower the transparency of the storytelling so it almost forms part of the pencil. It doesn't stand out quite as much. I can play with that and look at it. But so just to go back here, what we've done right now is we've created a logo in a couple of minutes. From there, we've created a very simple design. Now, the next thing I want is I want to download this design. So now I don't need a transparent PNG. I'm simply going to download it as a PNG. So there it is. It's downloaded. It's waiting for me on my phone.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm still on the first one where you designed the little, and when I try and download, I don't know how to save it. So when I try to download, it tells me, brings up pay to download. I changed it from a PNG to it.
I'll tell you why it's telling you to pay. The image that you've chosen is a paid image. Let's say this particular, let me go back to the logo. Let's say this particular element is only available as a pay. You see there when I click on it, it's a pro element. So I'd have to go and find a free element, not just. So what it'll do is it'll either want you to join the paid version or pay $1 or $2 for that image. So anytime you're trying to download something and it's telling you must pay, it means you've chosen a paid image.
Okay. And the other thing is, so I broke the two text apart.
Yes.
And I tried to, obviously I try to use Coral Draw here, and I tried to line them up together.
Right.
I push Control C. It took me into something. So how do you line them up? So yes, I see that there's a group and there's a position.
I'm going to ungroup them for you. Okay. And I'm going to show you that they are separate elements. So I'm bringing them down to where I think they're in line, but I'm not really sure. So once again, I go File, Show Rulers, and I'm going to drag down a line.
Okay. So you use it with line.
I'm going to use my eye to get that on the line.
Thank you.
That one on the line. Once I've got them on the line together, I'm going to put them together. I'm going to group them again so that I can't accidentally separate them. And I'm going to move them how I want, and I can just make that little line disappear because I don't need it for design purposes. Another thing I just want to show you on the bottom right-hand side is the zoom button. I can zoom up to 200% so I can see exactly where I'm working, but I tend to work just at an amount that's comfortable where I can see the whole, but I can zoom in there. So I'm going to go back to our Facebook page over here. Another thing I can do up here is I can give it a name. So I can call it Creatrix Facebook cover so that I can find it anytime that I want and not be having to scan through it. But now what I want to do with this is I actually want to give it to Lynn so that you can use it as a story as well. So I'm going to go here to where it says resize, and I'm going to look for a Instagram.
Can I ask you something before you switch? Okay, so you said some elements, some are paid and some are free. Is it the same thing with the photos? Like some of them are paid or free?
Exactly. Some are pro and some are free. So I can tell you right now, if you can pay, if you can find the $9 a month, which works out to be about 140 or 150 Rand, or pay for a year, Canva is one of the few things where I can tell you, you will get unbelievable benefit for that 1,200 Rand. You will, once you've paid and anyone asks you, you'll say to them, yes, I use the paid version and here's why. And you'll be able to rattle it off in 2 seconds. So it comes highly recommended. Who asked me that question?
I did, but I want to know, how do you know? Do you just have to go over the photo and we'll say whether it's pro or whether it's free? Is that it?
As you, like right now, as I'm going over them, you can see they're all free because I've actually set it to pro and free. If I open it,
okay,
which I've done right now, now it says to me pro, there's a pro one. So that the second one, the top one's a pro image. That one's a free image. So I would have to decide between whether or not there's enough in the free image for me or the pro image. But I can tell you something, that there are some remarkable pro image. I just want to quickly duplicate this. I want to change the background to this one over here.
And then, Mike, when you finish that, I'd like to ask you another question, please.
Sure. Place the background. There's another little, that's not going to work for Lynn because she likes it all pointing, but I can look at both of them and I can say, no, tried it, don't like that one, go back to my original one. Sorry, yes, the question?
You know why I
Okay.
do like it, Mike? You know why I do like it?
Yes.
Because it's, in a sense, that's phase 2 and phase 1 is the chaos. So you could actually have the ones that are all over the place. Of like, having problems with your multicultural campaigns, come to Creatrix, where we all pencils point to success type of shit.
So there we go. We're already building our campaign. But without losing, so you can see.
Exactly. Lovely.
So there was another question.
That's
there.
very clever.
So I used another picture and I downloaded it.
Right.
Where did it go to? Because I've looked in my folders. There's nothing there.
It's on your computer in your download folder.
So you can't choose where to save it. It just automatically goes there.
Well, it will automatically go there, but let me just go to my home, go to my settings. I'll tell you if you can. Templates, features. No, actually, sorry, it's going to go. Come on, log in. Account settings. You might be able to change it, but otherwise you'll find it in your download folder.
Okay.
If it does allow me to decide where I want to.
There's a whole lot of tutorials and
Yes, there's a million.
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. But I just want to quickly go back to our Facebook that we've created now, and now I want to resize it. So I click the resize button over here. It's a feature that's available on the Pro, and I can decide that I actually want to make this an Instagram story or an Instagram post. So if it's an Instagram post, it'll automatically, I can click here, copy and resize. So I'm not going to lose the old one. It's now going to create a new one for me in the exact size that I need. I may have to do some slight tweaking. So for example, I can tweak that down there. I might want to up the size of the logo. But pretty much now I've now got a Facebook cover. I've now got a Instagram post. I can even go back here and I can say resize, and this time I want to make it a brochure that I want to give to my clients. There's a brochure. Hit copy and resize.
And are all these resizes only available on the paid version?
I think so. That's the one thing I'm not sure about. But if not, what you'd have to, let me just show you how to resize without the paid version. Maybe that's a good idea. So here I have all the elements that I want. And I now want to create another post for myself, but I don't have the paid version. So I'm just going to close those quickly. That are all these ones that we're opening. And what would you like me to create for you? What size? Hello?
Do a poster maybe, Mark.
A poster. So there we are. I'll click on poster. Now I can go back to my Facebook cover page and I can click on one of the elements and hold down the shift key. I'll see them both together and I simply hit Control-C, which is copy. Now I go back to my new poster and I press Control-V and there it is, it's brought it in here for me. Now I need to go and find that same background that I used earlier. If I go to photos, I don't have to search again because if I click on recently used, it'll show me all the images that I've recently looked at. So I'll pop that one down there and I'll set it as the background image again. This time the storytelling does, well, let's try something. I can adjust this, I can crop it. I can put it smack bang in the middle. Well, I must have it preferred to the side, but that's my, I'm going to move that across again there.
The client is insisting that it goes in the middle.
Client insists it goes in the middle. I have to find
now.
I just have to find the mute client button. No problem. Go to crop, move it across. Put it in the middle. There we have it.
Would just say that storytelling should go under Creatrix.
Certainly here
and not clever, if you know what I mean. Just Creatrix storytelling, almost as if it was part of the logo in a way.
Yeah.
Straight, yeah, something of that nature.
What I could possibly do is just simply delete that and bring in it again. But that's how to resize if you haven't got the resize button. You just simply copy elements from one to another and take it from there. So what we've done in the meantime, and once again, there's the download. Now I can decide I want it as a PDF, do I want it as a JPEG, I want it as a PNG, how I want to save it. This is the power, the absolutely remarkable power of Canva. That in a few minutes we're able to come up with a logo, give it a catch line, try it in different things, try different backgrounds on it. We took it from a blank canvas. We now have our little poster. Teach you another couple of tricks. Now I want to actually put some wording in this poster, but I know that it's not going to stand out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back to my elements, and here I'm going to find in my shapes, I'm going to find a little square, and I'm going to take the square over here, and I'm just going to fill up this bottom text over here.
Horror of horrors.
Shh, I'm not finished. Okay, I'm going to go to the green that we had over there. Where's the green from our document? Over there. I'm going to change its opacity. All I want to be able to do so that when I type words over there, they will stand out a little bit more. Because otherwise I'm going to be stuck with words that because of the multiple colors of the document itself, that they're never going to stand out enough for me. So now I can take the text and I can put in please contact us.
Mike, where did you make the rectangle if I'm still back on the first picture?
No problem, I'll give it to you now quickly. Hold.
Thanks.
Okay, so if I were to remove this background for you, You'll see how hard it is to read the please contact. So all I've done is I've created a little shield for it. I can make it smaller.
Please, can you just show again where you got that from?
Okay, no problem. I'm deleting it, so it's not there at all. I'm going across to my elements. And in my elements, you'll find the shapes. There are all the shapes. So for example, I might actually want to put this inside something unusual. Hexagon, a star inside a heart. But all I did was I clicked on that one over there. Once it was there, I resized it to what I wanted. I positioned it. I picked a color for it. Here I just simply used a black color.
Mike, do you just drag it? Do you just drag it in? Is it a drag and drop thing?
The drag it, I'm holding down my mouse and I'm dragging it around. If I want to be very specific, I can use my arrow keys if I'm looking for a very specific placement. I can use my arrow keys. But the really nice thing is that can you see the checkered pink line? That checkered pink line is showing me that I'm in the middle, that I've got it perfectly placed. Back to that, just going to drop its opacity down so that it just is there at that particular time. Another thing I can do right now is before I send it to the client is I don't want her using it without my permission. So I can put on I can go here and just go sample. Move it up here. Another way to increase the size of the font is simply to increase that over there. I'm going to make that white. And I'm going to drop its opacity. And I can send that to the client without, yeah.
And the irony is, I've already taken a screenshot, taken a photograph, sized it, and put it on your Facebook post.
No problem. But that, I know that people are like, I'm just amazed by how powerful Canva is. There's still more things we can do. I'm doing an advanced Canva course in about 2 weeks' time or so, where I'll take you through multiple images and how to cut them and how to. So let me show you one other little really nice thing about this, about the Pro version. I'm just going to duplicate this.
And then, Mike, sorry, another question. When I've got the background on the first one, when I try and touch it, it doesn't give me a transparency option.
On the background?
Yes.
So can you see there? I've selected it. I've selected the background. It's got.
Okay, this is on designing a logo. I've selected it. It's got the blue outline.
Sorry, it's because you're on the free version, so you can't make it transparent on the free version.
But it gives you transparency on when you've touched the logos, when you make blocks. It is there, but not on the background. So maybe that's what it is. Okay.
Of course, I can't see your background right now, especially if it's a solid color. You can't change the transparency of a solid color.
Okay.
So just one more thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to my photo. Now I'm going to go to my uploads.
Just confirm that for me. So if you bring in a square like you did and you make it a black box and you type in text, on the free version, can you make that color transparent? Yes, like you've done?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great.
I'm just looking for a picture quickly while I'm going through all my designs, all the stuff I've uploaded. Ah, there she is. There's Lynn. Let's see if I can find one of her. You know, I've got a picture of you somewhere here on this computer of mine.
Better be careful about your archives there, Brew.
I know, believe me, I've spoken about that already. I've been caught too many times. But I know what I'm looking for, so. Surely I didn't meet you before I met the butchery. When did we build your website? No, it's higher up. There's Lynn Joffe. Maybe I deleted it.
I always knew it was a piece of meat.
Yeah. Let me just find another one of Lynn Joffe here. And I've got other pictures from her launch.
There's me holding my book.
Okay, so there's Lynn holding a book. Right, so I can drop that in here. But I want to try something. I want to see how clever Canva actually is. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go here to effects. And this is also on the paid version, and I'm going to hit the background remover. And I want to see what Canva does with this. Look at that, eh?
Jeez.
Isn't that spectacular? I mean, that would have taken someone
Wow.
hours and hours of deep
Massive.
Yeah, it would take someone hours and hours of deep etching to do that, which I did on a single click on Canva Pro.
Please put her back in the middle.
I wanted to line her up with the edges. You see the shoulder edges. That was the reason.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you another, I'm not sure how we are for time, but I'll show you another little trick that I'm going to do with her. I'm going to duplicate this page. And I'm now going to remove all the other elements from this page. I left one element behind there, so we'll just remove that one. Now, because I have the paid version, what I'm actually going to do with this is I'm going to download the single image. Now, please have a look on the right-hand side here. I've been working with 3 different pages. I don't want to download all of them. I only want this one. I'm downloading that one, so I click Done, and I'm going to download it as a transparent PNG for myself. So now what I've done is I've created an image of Lynn holding a book with no background. I'm going to pop that by just dragging and dropping it into my downloaded elements. And there it is over there. So now I'm going to go back to this picture. I'm going to remove this one that I made. And I'm going to do one other thing this time. Let me just remove that. I'm going to go back to my elements. And I'm going to look at something called frames. Can you see frames over there? I'm going to look at all the frames.
Sorry, to show you.
Sorry. I'm going to choose a frame. For example, this one over here. I'm going to pop it in there. Now a frame, you see that a frame means that I can drop a picture in there. I can go back to my uploads, find that picture of Lynn, and I'm going to drop it straight into the frame. And if I don't like that frame, which I don't actually, I'll go back to frames, elements, frames. So what shape do we have that's unusual?
Mike, is frames inside elements?
Yes, frames are part of elements. So let me just go back there. Inside elements, you will find recently used features. You'll find lines, shapes, frames, stickers, charts, grids, gradients, there's all the zodiac signs, or I can always just search. I can search up at the top there for something else. So I'm just going to go back to frames. See all. I was actually looking for something a little bit kitsch, but let's see if we can find a heart. In fact, let's put it inside the sea of Creatrix. Just for fun, go back to my uploads. Lynn. Okay, the C doesn't work, unfortunately it cuts you. But it's just another little feature of this. There are so many amazing features in Canva. But once again, I'll go remind you, when you do your design, please go back to those 10 rules. Look at it. you can get a little too carried away in Canva. You can say, oh, well, you know what I think I'll do? I think up at the top there, I'd like to drop in an element of a brain. Oh, there's a nice brain. Let's stick the brain over there. And all of a sudden, you've just simply put in way too much inside your design. So go back to your elements. That's kind of Canva for beginners. I can't believe an hour and a half has gone by in a flash. If there are any questions, anyone has any questions, anything you're a little stuck with, please give me a shout. Ask now.
I want to ask another question.